We've all been down bad before, but it takes a truly evolved human being to rationalize and accept one's circumstances in the blink of an eye. An evolved 6'10", 240-pound NBA champion, that is. This is meme history, and today we've got an absolute classic from Big Zo, aka Alonzo Mourning. A moment that demonstrates a meme needs no context to be perfect. But knowing the backstory makes it even more fun.
I've actually used this a lot, and I have no idea where it came from.
Dude, yes. Yes. Something sucks, but it could be worse. I've used this GIF far too many times.
I didn't even know the context. You know what? I don't even want to know the context. I just want to live in his facial expression and his pensive look and then his acceptance.
One glance at this meme and you know the exact emotions you're supposed to be feeling. Alonzo Mourning is on the Heat bench. His team is down by 30 and he goes through every stage of grief in about 3 seconds.
This really is so many emotions happening all at once. Just the anger, the confusion, and then the acceptance. This is really a life story in one meme. If you're going through a hard time, watch this meme and it's all released.
Alonzo Mourning is feeling every single point of that 30-point deficit, and he is pissed off. But it finally, at some point, just sinks in like, well, you know what? We're getting our bleeps handed to us.
A lot of memes are very one note, right? Like crying Jordan is sad. LeBron smiling through it all, like so happy. But like there's so many emotions. And so you get to run through the course of like disappointment, resignation, potentially acceptance.
And frankly, we've all been there.
Whether it's something in life, something in work, like, yeah, that stinks. Could be worse. It ain't.
Wow, you're nice if this stinks. What? Yeah. Got some leftovers in the fridge tonight.
You know, all the pancakes get eaten at the Thanksgiving breakfast. And you're like, man, I don't have any pancakes left. But hey, at least I'm not going to gain 5 more pounds from all this food I was going to eat.
Hey, maybe you weren't feeling something, but then the more you think about it, you're like, I might do that. Like, you know, I'm supposed to be on a diet and I shouldn't be eating bad, but dang, the McRib is back.
I feel like this is me whenever I eat vegetables. I'm just like so not excited to eat vegetables. And then I realize like a little bit after that initial anger about like having all this green on my plate that like, oh, this will keep me alive for a little bit longer. So maybe it's not so bad.
But here's the context that most people don't know. This wasn't just getting waxed by 30 on a normal night of NBA action. This was opening night 2006, which means, yes, the last time the Heat were on the floor, this happened.
The Miami Heat, they've done it. They win their first championship in franchise history.
And what happens on opening night at home right after winning a championship? It's ring night.
Well, life comes at you fast moment. I mean, literally the last time they're on the court, they were crowned champions. Tonight, they're getting their hardware, and now you're getting skunked by a Chicago team that I don't know what they were doing in 2006, but this is definitely not how your ring night is supposed to go.
This was a night when all those guys, Haslam, Peyton, Lonzo, they got their first rings that night.
Like on ring night, guys it's a celebration, you know? The defending champs do not get their asses handed to them on ring night.
This should be played in every NBA locker room on the next ring night as a reminder of what can happen if you don't go out and focus the way you should against a young and hungry team.
Crowd sounds puzzled. I think it's bewilderment now.
I think they are stunned. I mean, this is such a festive night. They're here to celebrate the championship, and now their team is getting blown off the floor.
So that's important context, right? Because he's like, well, this sucks, but, you know, we're going to get our rings.
We are losing by 30 points, but at least I'm still going home with a ring that like I can give my grandkids, 40 years from now to show them that I actually accomplished something in life.
And in this case, it's not just the message, it's also the messenger. Because the way Alonzo Mourning carries himself doesn't exactly scream internet joke.
Here's what you have to understand about Alonzo Mourning. The scowl, that's his resting face. He's constantly scowling. You could have probably put the camera on the bench most games when he was sitting, and he would look like that.
Alonzo Mourning is like one of the most intense individuals I've ever met. So intense, in fact. There's just no, like, sometimes he can't even really get a joke. There isn't like levity around him.
When you think about Zoe, you think about like this large, forbidding, like throwback kind of player, right? Late 90s NBA where dudes were muscling up and fighting each other.
And Fitz are flying at the other end. Larry Johnson is one of them. Here we go. Oakley and Mourning have at each other.
Given that it's Alonzo Mourning, given just the tough guy image that he has, and that little just, hey, talking to yourself moment, and he just shows the world, hey, I'm just like you guys. I think through these things just like everyone else. I just happen to be expressive and show this on television.
That's what makes it so good, right? When it's out of character, something you don't expect from that person, and you see a real side of them. There's no cap in it.
Zoe was even asked to reflect on the meme a couple years ago, and he claims not to remember what was going through his head in that moment.
Do you remember what was going on then? Do you have any context
First of all,
for us?
did you see the score of the game? All right, so we were getting our butts kicked, so that
down
was
30.
That was a look of disgust at that particular time. We were down 30, so that hence the reaction to what was going on.
Did you see all the ways this is used around the internet? That's fantastic.
Yes, it's one of the most popular memes. It's pretty comical because I like to know exactly at that particular moment my exact thoughts.
Right.
I knew I was a little disgusted by the score, but I like to know my exact thoughts.
I don't think your exact thoughts we can say on national daytime television because this is a family program.
But even though the rest of us aren't Hall of Fame NBA power forwards with muscles that have their own muscles, we can all find relatability in his emotional journey on the bench that night. And that's what makes this a classic.
There's all these like relatable moments that you kind of have that people kind of gravitate towards. So it was always kind of when a camera focused on a player or someone on the bench, that was kind of the moment to kind of like your ears would get ready. Like, hey, this could be a meme right here.
A great meme says a lot in a little, right? Like it's got to have a bunch of variety. It's got to take you through a little bit of journey, and it's got to be universally applicable.
That's what we call gift material, kiddos.
There's probably like a whole generation that doesn't really know who Alonzo Mourning is, but they know this meme.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.